Joining us now, Florida Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz. Congressman, thanks for joining us. First, before I ask you about Iran specifically, your thoughts overall about the weekend events, the reaction to it, and what you're hearing from your constituents.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks for having me. Well, I mean, we've seen Israel's 9/11. It's the worst terrorist attack in Israeli history. It's the largest number of Jews murdered since the Holocaust. To see, babies killed, children kidnapped, women raped next to their dead spouse, it's just horrific. To see a Holocaust survivor taken as a hostage. I mean, the folks in my community are outraged. I mean, Jews are never going back to those days. And this is barbaric behavior like we have not seen in Israel in a very long time, if not ever. And so my community is outraged. They want to see the world unite around Israel. There is going to be a significant response from the Israelis. Now is not the time for calls for any ceasefire. And we got to get these hostages back if we can. And I know Israel and the United States is doing everything they can to try to do that.
You were a co-sponsor of a bill criticizing the payment to Iran for hostages. There is criticism of Biden administration Iran policy because a lot of experts do believe that there's a funnel for money from Iran to Hamas and to Hezbollah. How do you see that today?
Sure. So first, I'm a sponsor of the Ship Back with Congressman Lawler to stop Iran from going around the sanctions on oil to China. I worked with Nancy Mace on sending a letter to the Biden administration to deny the Iranians the ability to come to the UN. And while, I think the United States needs to do everything it can to get back hostages taken. We're talking to someone who, Bob Levinson, his family lives in my district. And so I'm happy to see Americans return. But I was against the additional money going to Iran. While that particular money wasn't used in this instance, to be clear, there should not be any payments to Iran. That is my position. And I think that money going to Iran was inappropriate.
Just quickly, Congressman, in July, there was a resolution to reaffirm support for Israel. And a number of Democrats voted against that. And they either voted no or voted present. There is a side of your caucus that is very vocal on this. Rashida Tlaib put out a statement right after the attacks. What do you say to them tonight?
Well, they're in the minority. They're in the vast minority on this issue. They've been in the minority on this issue. They're still in the minority on this issue. The vast amount of Democrats around the country support Israel, and the overwhelming amount of Democrats in Congress support Israel. There's 212 of us that are supportive of Israel and voted for that resolution. So if there's 7 or 8 of us that disagree, they're wrong, but they're entitled to their opinion. And that's why I work on a bipartisan. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. There are 8 Republicans who disagreed about the speaker's race. Do you know how you're going to vote for speaker?
I'll be voting for Speaker Hakeem Jeffries when that happens. I hope my colleagues across the aisle obviously can get a candidate and get to 218. I think that's significantly important, not just for them, but for the House and for the country, especially as our number one ally, Israel, faces the largest terrorist attack, their 9/11 moment. They need the United States with them. We need to pass resolutions in the House. We're going to have to pass supplementals. And I look forward to doing that on a bipartisan basis, regardless of any small, minor minority that may vote against it.
Congressman Jared Moskowitz in Florida, we appreciate the time, Congressman.